Hi guys, Steven Weather, weird rubber mask. This is so stupid. So, hit 100 subscribers yesterday. I thought I would take the time to share me with you. Any interest? If not, I can turn these hot lights off. Surprisingly warm. So I thought I would share... Okay. So, I like movies. This is my second tape because my battery... second take because my battery was going to die. So, we'll see how this goes. I thought I would share some of my interests with you guys. Kind of rambly, but that's because there is barely any idea of what I'm doing right now. So I thought I would share some of my interests, which are movies and stuff. Movies. Up first, City of Lost Children. It's French, it's fantastic, it has a young Ron Perlman in it. Right there. I want to say he's probably in like his early 30s, like older 20s in this movie. Came out in 1995, so probably 30s. It's French and fantastic and weird and fantastic and fantastic. The set design is amazing, the artistic direction is fantastic and confusing and scary, and I love it. So, City of Lost Children. Blade Runner. If you hadn't seen Blade Runner, go see Blade Runner. This is the final cut. There's been like 3 or 4 different versions come out. There's a director's cut, an ultimate edition, final cut, and some other one. This last edition only differs from the one that came out before it because of the addition of a dream involving a unicorn. Yeah. If you don't know Blade Runner, it's based off the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Go see that movie too, if you haven't seen that movie yet. So, up next, Constantine. I'm a big fan of the Hellraiser comic book. I am not up to date, but I've read the first 260 issues, give or take. It's John Constantine and all of his wonder. A lot of people didn't like the movie because it definitely differs a lot from the comic, but I'm a big fan of different. Different is okay. It's different. It's okay. It's okay to be different. It's like The Watchmen confusing. It's not exactly like the comic book. It's one of the most comic book movies that sticks to the comic book like I've seen in a long time, except for like Hellboy or something, which I don't think I have for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's kind of late, so I'm talking kind of quietly. I apologize if you can't hear me too well. I will try to keep it at a good volume. Weird. It's a rubber mask. It's so tight. It just doesn't really fit right. Cabin in the Woods. If you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, it's Joss Whedon and some other guy. I forget who the other guy is, and I have absolutely no regrets involving that. It's not a parody, it's not a satire, it's not even an homage. Well, maybe a little. I really don't know how to describe it, actually, now I think about it. But you've probably seen it. It came out like 3 years ago. It's really good. There's a scene with a unicorn that stabs a guy. I mean, if you need more information, what's wrong with you? So I may or may not be a 16-year-old girl. Just gonna put that out there. I don't know. The Rat Pack series of movies I've always enjoyed. It's good filler. You know? Good stuff to watch in the background while you're doing thumbnails, I guess. I don't know. I like them a lot. I like them. Maybe not necessarily a lot, but I like them. Up next, the work of Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost. Just together. I don't have Spaced. I'm not sure why I don't have Spaced. Yet. I don't have it yet. Yet. I plan on getting it as soon as I have money again, so when the job stuff works. If you haven't seen any of the movies I just held up, watch them. They're hilarious. I will link not to the movies, right here. Not to the movies themselves, but rather to a deconstruction of Edgar Wright's humor from every frame painting. Why? Because I really like that channel, and I think the guy deserves more subscribers. He does really awesome video essays on various directors and art styles and things like that of this cinema-type nature. The Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, as campy and hilariously bad as it is, I really like the mythos behind it, and I don't know, I think it's probably one of my favorite, like, late 80s, early 90s, horror movie franchises. Like, a lot of people like Friday the 13th. I couldn't really get into it, but I haven't given it a chance since I really liked the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, so take that as you will. The Cube franchise with Cube 2, Hypercube, Cube 3, Cube 0, Cube the Revengeance. Technically a prequel, but I like to put it at the end of my stack because that's how it came out. What you gonna do? The first Cube came out... So, the first Cube movie was the first one to come out, I want to say, in the early 90s, like 1990? 1991? This camera angle's kind of weird. I feel like it was probably a heavy inspiration on the Saw franchise a little bit, because it's people trapped in rooms full of death and death. I don't know. I think it's probably one of... Out of, like, I don't want to say torture porn, because it's not. It was before that, so some of the effects were actually kind of cheesy, and it's wonderful. I like the franchise. It's got cool killing devices, and a really interesting overarching story across all three movies. So if you ever get a chance, check them out also. I'm starting to realize this might be a really boring video, because I'm like... a fifth of the way through my pile that I picked out. Next franchise of horror wonderfulness. Yeah. The Evil Dead franchise. So Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, technically Evil Dead 1, the remake, and Evil Dead 2/3, The Army of Darkness. Technically Bruce Campbell versus The Army of Darkness, the director's cut, in my case. But that's just me. If you don't know the Bruce Campbell trilogy, duology, 2.5-ology, I don't know what to call it, because, I don't know, it's weird, because the second one is a remake of the first one, but done in a different style, so instead of straight horror movie, it's more comedy, but it's still the same story, mostly same actors, slightly higher budget. A lot of people like the Evil Dead 2 because it's funny. People like, comedy's easy, that is obvious, comedy is easy. Well, it's not easy, but it sells better. Hellraiser. Once again, a really big fan of the mythos, and I also am a big fan of Clive Barker's work in general, whether it be books, that's a book, or movies in this case, or just his art style in general. Like, he does a lot of art. Like, he paints and draws, and like for his books, he does like all the illustrations and stuff. You should check out Aberrat if you like things that aren't horror, and also by Clive Barker, which is pretty cool. Now, I never said I wasn't a weeb. Except now, I'm not a weeb, but I do like the animes. So up first, Blood the Last Vampire, the movie, not the show. The movie that inspired the show. It's got basically completely different art style. One of my favorite things is the sky in that movie. It's really good. And it's so much better than the show. I have some of the show, but it's definitely not as good as the movie. But I guess it's more accessible than the movie, but it's neither here nor here, or rather there. Up next, Paprika. Paprika, I initially saw in theaters in one of the landmark theaters down here, which does like foreign films and indie films and midnight movie things of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is another one on this list just to throw out there, and just stuff like that. It's probably one of my favorite movie theater chains ever. If you've heard of like the Alamo Draft House, Inky, and Terramora, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head who are in Texas. It's kind of like that, but with less booze and food catering service. But they also do like one of the ones down here does the Rocky Horror Picture Show monthly, on like the third Saturday at midnight or something, and then regular midnight showings of other stuff. Recently being stuff like we get The Room regularly with Tommy Wiseau, actually there to do like a Q&A session. He comes regularly. Don't know why. Paranoia Agent. It's weird. It's definitely weird. A lot of people don't like it because it's weird. I like it because it's weird, and also because it's fantastic and has a great soundtrack. And one of my favorite episodes has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the show. It's not full of non sequiturs, but the overarching story is there, but you have to look for it in most of the episodes. It's a show about paranoia and insanity and crazy dream monsters at the end, kinda. Spoilers? Spoilers? It's been out for like 10 years. Spoilers? Check it out if you have a good chance. And the last one for my anime pile, I believe, is Trigun. Oh, I don't know how I managed to forget that. That was creepy. Jesus. Cowboy Bebop. Like, that's everyone's default favorite, right? Because it's so good. I mean, like, it's really good. Really good. I also like CDs. Oh, I should mention this. Here, to here. So this entire shelf is all Nine Inch Nails CDs. Take that as you will. They're mostly different. I have a couple different variants of the same album once or twice. Take that as you will. Now, not a franchise, but a collection by a director. And judge me all you want. We've got the Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic, fantastic Mr. Fox, the Darjeeling Limited, Moonrise Kingdom, the Grand Budapest, which is currently at Maritu's house, Wes Anderson. Honestly, a pretty big influence in me from the cinematic perspective. So once I do actually start putting things on this channel that are videos and stuff, you can probably notice one or two things which are kind of distinct of his style, because he's definitely a pretty hefty influence. Which, if you guys are interested, I might do like a video of just, I don't know, my influences and stuff. Leave a comment if you care at all about that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not gonna hold it against you if you don't care. I'm honestly not. I don't really have to talk much about this one. It's the original series movies, so the first 6 movies. I don't think I have to talk about that, do I? You guys know what Star Trek is, right? Am I that old? God, I'm so old. Now, this is a movie that I actually bought before watching, which 2 movies I've purchased before actually watching, just based off instinct, because I'm that good. I'm that good. First one I bought, Donnie Darko. Come on, guys, this thing's been out for like 15 years. You should have seen it by now. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal's first movie. It's the best lighting angle in here. Second one, which was last year that I bought, and then watched for the first time, which is Horns. Daniel Radcliffe plays a guy who turns into Satan. Yeah. Cool Satan with a motorcycle. Also, it's based off the book Horns by Joe Hill, who, from my understanding, is Stephen King's son, which probably was one of the bigger influences in me getting it before actually taking the time to watch it. But what you gonna do? Movies of a fairly serious nature. Secret Window, featuring Johnny Depp. I believe it's a Stephen King book. But everything is a Stephen King book. He's written several hundred books, half of which have been made into movies. Everything is a Stephen King book. Secret Window, Johnny Depp, I think was one of his lesser known roles, honestly. It's a Stephen King horror mystery thing. I'm not going to tell you too much about it because it's, it's one of the things. You watch The Thing, you get the thing. The Thing. The Thing? The Thing. 7. I mean, it's fucking 7. It's a fantastic fucking movie. David Fincher, he's a fucking artist. Literally, he some of the storyboards he's done have been collected into books for your coffee table. Just the storyboards for the movies that he's done. Because there's so much detailing. I'm not sure why I'm doing this voice. It's almost like William Shatner mixed with some guy. Okay. One of Jim Carrey's more serious and kind of frightening roles. The Number 23. When I first saw The Number 23, it was in theaters. I didn't buy it first, though I probably would have, honestly. And when we were watching it, about halfway through, it started playing backwards and upside down. And if you've seen the movie, you know that would have more or less been par for the course. Like, the movie starts off pretty normal and then gets really weird and then gets weirder, and it's really cool. But it wasn't supposed to play backwards and upside down. Apparently, when the film cutter guys. Okay, so film knowledge background. When you have film projectors at a movie theater and you receive the film, the big reels of film, it's usually in 2 to 4 reels, which then the film cutter guy has to basically tape together, as fucking magical as that sounds. And I guess the guy taped it together wrong. He taped the 2 reels wrong, which is hilarious. So, went back to see it later and saw the whole thing, and it was really good. It's kind of a psychological horror movie starring Jim Carrey. With occasional Jim Carrey jokes, but also not at all. It's not him. But it's great. It's a really good movie. Up next, Roman Polanski's, the expedited statutory rapist guy. It's a great movie by a horrible person. I have several of them in my collection, but I got most of them used, so they don't get any of the money. How's that? That okay? Okay. 98. Another one, Johnny Depp. In this movie, Johnny Depp collects books and has sex with a demon. I should do synopsis for stuff. You guys would like that, right? That'd be funny. Yeah. Up next. Get out. Okay, so I can't actually get this out of the case. Because it's a slidey case. You slide it out. Oh. Ha. And it's, the movie's Memento. Let me just fucking tell you. But I really like the box art. Is that what you refer to for DVD art? It's really cool. If you've seen the movie, you know that this is, it's a clipboard. It's a clipboard in a big fancy manila folder thingy with a bunch of medical information on it. If you've seen the movie, you know that fits perfectly with the movie. Memento, written by the guy who did Batman. Not Batman, The Dark Knight trilogy. It was one of his earlier movies, and the entire thing's backwards. Once again, David Fincher. Fight Club. Jimmy, little baby Jimmy. Honestly, I liked the book more, but the movie is amazing. David Fincher is a really good director. I was a little... So I saw the movie first, and then read the book, and then was a little taken aback by how gay the book was. Like, in the movie, it's occasionally hinted at. In the book, they first meet on a nude beach. And gay stuff. Like, not gay stuff, but, you know, more overtone instead of undertone. Now, I know all of you fuckers have better have seen this by now. The Fifth Element. With Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich? And Gary Oldman as a young man. Or Gary Youngman. Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton in Frailty. About Matthew McConaughey murdering people with an axe. Yeah. I want to say it's another Stephen King one. I'm not really sure. For sure. But it's really good. God, I have so much crap on my floor. All movies. Oh. More TV shows. Because anime is TV shows. If you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor and find it. It's not that hard to find. It was on HBO for a while. It used to be on Netflix like 2 or 3 years ago. But now it's not, so find it. But Flight of the Conchords. If any of you want me to go into more detail about anything I've shown or anything that you might see back here, leave a note in the comments. Shit, I'll do it. Whatever, I like movies. I'm easy. Flight of the Conchord. 2 New Zealanders moved to New York and start a rap band. Yeah. Kinda. Now, this one's a little more old school than the last one. Aeon Flux. I was really happy when I found the, Seasons? 3-disc collection. I don't know if it's done by Seasons or not, but it's a complete series of Aeon Flux, which back in like the 90s was an MTV original animated series, which was absolutely bizarre and overly sexual, and it was fantastic. You questioned your sexuality, man. It's what you did. It was the thing to do. It was the 90s. It was MTV. Another fantastic show that I've realized a lot of people don't know about, but it was on UPN in the 90s at some point. No, 1999. Owned by Warner Brothers Entertainment. It was on UPN for a while. It is Mission Hill. Singular. It follows Andy and his brother and his roommate. The roommate, his dog, Stogie. And they just kind of live in a big apartment together and get drunk, party. It's really good. It has a really interesting cast. All the character designs are really unique. It's got a bizarre color scheme. It's fantastic. And it's really funny. Like, you can find a couple episodes on here, on YouTube, if you know where to look. Or whatever, you know. Okay. This one, this movie is in English, French, and Spanish. At the same time. Kind of. It goes through the different languages throughout the movie, but it's all subtitled into English, except for the English, because it's already in English. Anyhow, The Science of Sleep came out in 2006. It's really cute. It's got Charlotte Gainsbourg, a pony. How do you pronounce that? Gail Garcia Bernal, I think. And it's got a mix of like regular video, stop motion, crazy sets made of cardboard, and it's beautiful. It's a fantastic movie. A Science of Sleep. I'll link to it. I'm gonna link to all this crap at some point or another. So yeah, go watch the thing. Up next we have a personal favorite, which I go back to maybe 3 times a year just to watch. Mystery Men. Oh, it's so good. It's got Kel and Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, Hank Azaria, William H. Macy, Greg Kinnear, Jeffrey Rush, and Paul Rubens. Yeah, they got Pee-wee. Don't think I ever put that together before. That's really weird. Mystery Men. It's unlikely. It's Mystery Men, guys. Come on, it's a fucking classic. Watch this shit. So what's new? Something that if I'm ever really not in the mood to watch anything or kind of pissed off or just want to take a second, I always come back to Airplane. And sometimes Airplane 2, The Revenge. Airplane or Airplane 2, the sequel. Take that, Sharknado. Kind of forgot the name. It's fucking Airplane. Just, you know what it is. Basically anything Mel Brooks has been hilarious. So, of course, Robin Hood Men in Tights and Young Frankenstein. They're both amazing. They're fucking classics. I mean, there's also, like, also Blazing Saddles, or like, History of the World Part 1, or Silent Movie, which I think is the name, or, High Anxiety, or, come on, it's Mel Brooks. Like, it's fucking Mel Brooks. Then, we've got THX 1138. Yeah, I have no idea if that worked or not. THX 1138. I don't know why I took that out. THX 1138 was George Lucas's first film, I believe. I believe it was his first movie, like his straight up first movie that he actually made. It started off as like a college project for him, which then he came back to and made into an actual movie after a while. It's really thick sci-fi. It's really good. Like if you like Logan's Run, or like Silent Runnings, or Soylent Green and stuff like that, it's totally in like that vein of crazy, awesome sci-fi dystopia stuff. Fun thing to note: the first track of Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral, which is Mr. Self-Destruct, opens up. Like, the album starts with a sampling from this movie. You know, fun fact. I also know a lot about Nine Inch Nails stuff, so if you have any questions. Yeah, I have 31 Nine Inch Nails CDs. And also some bootleg stuff. And, like, a weird biography interview-y thing. Like, got any questions? Unbreakable. M. Night Shyamalan's, I want to say maybe his best movie. Honestly, I really liked The Village. I thought it was a really interesting movie, and I really enjoyed the twist, honestly. I don't know. I think he gets a lot more hate than he deserves. I think most of the hate at this point is just storytelling-wise, maybe influence on Unbreakable and stuff. I'm really waiting for that sequel. Actual influence: Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. Also, basically everything else. All 7 movies that he's done before he died. He was a beast to work with. Like, he drove her basically wacko on set just by psychological abuse, mostly. I don't think it was necessarily worth it, and I think it's kind of a really sadistic thing to do. But, so, weigh your options, I guess? I don't know. Also, Little Shop of Horrors, the producers, Sweeney Todd, and Cabaret. I like musicals. Those are my top 4, but not seen in that pile is, I want to say the Broadway production of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was stupid. It's really good. I will link here. It's a really good soundtrack. I haven't actually seen the play, but I've listened to the play a lot, and it's really good. You guys like stuff from different countries? I know I do. Some of my favorites include Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle, and I don't know who directed this one, but Battlefield Baseball. You should click this one. Good job. This movie is amazing. It's based off a manga It's absolutely ridiculous. It's one of my favorite movies, honestly. Like, I watch it regularly. It's so good. And absolutely horrible. And it's amazing. Let's see if this comes up. Like, you see that? That guy's got a baseball bat stuck in his head. That's how good this movie is. But no, if nothing else, just watch the opening scene. You'll probably be sold on it, honestly. That's all it really takes. And then basically anything by Stephen Chow, whether it's be Kung Fu Hustle, yeah, Kung Fu Hustle, click, or Ping Pong Playa,